be showing. That's for real. Destiny's having you, baby. Why'd you have to go? I don't need no more personal. I gave up all of me and more. You said.
What's up, everybody? It's DJ Raymore, Power 105.1, Power's Industry, the home of new music and entertainment. It's my main man, Ahmed, and we're here with the super talented Pamela Long of the group Total. How you doing? Are you still with Total? Can I say that? All right, good. That's a life commitment.
Yes,
I love
always.
that.
Yes, for real.
So how you doing?
I'm good. You?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm tired. But I'm excited because we got you in the building.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Legends,
excited.
legends.
Legends in the building.
Come through. That's
You know
good.
what it's like to go gold and then platinum.
Yes, I do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know the fight to keep it moving. Yeah.
How does that feel? Like, what do you do? You get a letter or something? I know they send you plaques and all that, but that's after you get to
Nah,
the
you know what?
contract.
No, we never received a letter or nothing. It was just a plaque. Puff was just like, yo, y'all went gold, y'all went platinum. It's just like, oh, okay, because pretty much, yeah. I
Was
know.
a tape, was a check taped to that?
You
Yeah,
said,
see?
no, that might have been it, but it was not. Yes, pretty much. No, not at all.
No, huh?
Yes.
I was gonna ask that too. Did the check come with that plaque?
Oh, goodness.
So
no.
we're gonna ask you a
Yes.
combination of questions
Okay.
because we know that you have solo projects and
Right.
we also know that you're part of that group and naturally
Absolutely.
everybody knows you because
From the
of the
group,
group right
yeah.
off the top. So
Absolutely.
I guess my first question would be, how did you guys come together?
You know what? Keisha and Kima actually were a group, and I went to a studio in Plainfield. I was 15 years old, and it was my first time ever going to a studio. And I came across the dude that was working with them. I recorded with him, and then I met Kima and Keisha like in passing. It wasn't nothing that was planned. It wasn't trying to be together. And then the next thing you know, probably like about 2 weeks later, the guy was just like, Kima and Keisha were actually looking for a third member, and he was just like, I think that you should be in the group. And I denied it at first. At first I said, nah, I don't want to be in a group.
You want to be a
I
solo
wanna be
artist? Okay.
And so,
You were 15 years old. You knew what you wanted.
yeah, I was like, nah, I don't want to be in no group. And then plus two, I thought at the time Kima was bougie. I was like, nah, I ain't rocking with her like that. But, you know, that was just my feelings. But then I was just like, all right, cool, I'll do it. And when I said that, it was just like history after that. It was just like we did a couple more things with him. And first our name was Total Opposite. Puff called us Total for short. And that's how we got Total. But our
So the
name
name of
was
the group was Total Opposite.
Total Opposite, because
Okay.
none of us are the same. If you look at us, all of us rock differently. Everybody had their own little
Character, own
thing.
style.
And, yeah.
Right.
And it was just like, we came after that, Kathy Dukes, she took us to Puffy, probably about maybe like almost a year later. And we went up to the studio, we sang for Puff. I mean, we was all in his face, had him all up against the wall. I mean, like on him like this. And it was just like, he was just, you know, Puff, he ain't say nothing, he ain't crack a smile. He ain't say, oh, y'all was dope, so nothing.
He just did watch it.
He was just like, all right, if y'all had gotten into an argument, he was like, could y'all get over it? And we was just like, yeah. He's like, what if she called you a B? Could you get over it? And I was just like, we was just like, yeah. He's like, all right, thank y'all for coming.
And left you hanging like that?
I was like, oh, he ain't like us. I was hurt. You know, I'm young, so I'm the one, I'm crying. I'm
Right.
done. When we leave the building, 5 o'clock that next morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, he called and told her, don't take those girls anywhere. I want to sign them. And it's been.
At 5 in the morning?
Yeah, 5 in the morning.
You think he was probably checking other artists throughout the night or something?
You know what? No, I think he probably just had time, because you know Puff is a genius. I think he's such a genius. He had probably just some time just to think about
Right.
what he heard, just the sound of it. And
Right.
he probably just was like, yo, with
Make the right decision.
Yep, with
Take
the
my
right
time.
grooming, I could do this. I could do something with them.
So how does it feel, like when you're under a Puff umbrella, like when you say grooming, I don't think that exists now. I think they just sign you and go. But
Yeah.
So like artist development.
artist
Yeah,
development,
artist
like,
development, absolutely.
how you know, attention to detail is, how picky is he? How does he, you know, tell you how to walk, he tell you how to talk, he tell you how to do your hair, like he's worried about your everything, like what
You
does
know
that
what?
entail?
You know what? I can honestly say with Puff, with us, it wasn't what I saw on television. You know, when he had the making of the band, that wasn't Total.
Right.
But and it wasn't big. It wasn't any of us. But what I can say is that the etiquette classes and all of that, he made sure. He was just like, yo, you going when you go out, you gonna know how to eat right. You going,
Oh, wow.
you know what I mean? You're gonna make sure. It's just like, okay, I like Pam's hair like that. I don't like her hair like that.
Right.
Nah, I think that's too much. And then once we had a look, he stayed true to the brand. The leather, you know, that's why you always seen us with the leather. That's why you always seen us, like, once Sybil Penix had hit us up with that leather, Puff was like, yo, that's it for them.
That's it,
Like, that's the look. The look with the shades, that's why you always seen us. And it was just like, Puff was a stickler for the brand.
Right.
And because of that, it was just like, it helped the win.
Right.
Because you walking around, you seeing people trying to be the little Pams, the little Keishas, the little Kimas, you know what I mean? And it's just like, you saw that. Yes, absolutely. And he stuck to that, no matter what. And it's like, it was times when I wanted to change my hair. He was like, nah, B. That's what he used to say, nah, B,
that's your brand. That's
the
what your
brand. You gotta
personality.
stick to it. Yeah.
We'll change the look now.
Yep.
You market it.
Yep. You market it.
Right.
And that he was a stickler for it. And it was just like, even when he came down to the sound, he knew what he wanted out in the forefront. It was just like, okay, Pam, I want you singing the first verse, or either Keisha. It wasn't that Kima is not a singer,
Right.
because she is. Kima has a dope voice.
Right.
But he knew what he wanted, that sound that he wanted up front. He was just like, all right, Kima, I need Kima right now. I need for you to blend in with this. And, you know, the next album we'll go a little bit more vocally
Right.
with you on that. But as far as right now, this is what I want.
He wants the tone to be that.
Yep, this is what I want.
Did Total ever actually break up? Like, did you guys really break up? Or
You know
just
what?
kind of went, you know, because some groups don't really break up. They just say we want to work on individual stuff.
They just
Right.
ignore each other for a couple
You know what I
years.
mean?
Right. You
Yeah.
know what it was? I can honestly say, it was just like, you know how you start having inner turmoil that starts spilling over into everything else? That's pretty much what it was for me. I can speak for myself. It's just like, you can put the face on that everything is good. And it's just like, being so young coming into the industry, it's just like, you really feel like the world is yours. Like, everything is mine. Like, it's just like, and then you start to become lax, and you start to not care as much as you did. You know how when you first get in, you hungry?
Yeah.
Like, you will do everything.
Right.
And is it after a while you start making your money, you start getting a little lax? Like, nah, I don't want to do that show.
I ain't doing that.
Nah, I
I'm
want
good.
to show up tonight.
That's not enough money.
I gotta go to the studio. I'll be a little late tonight, or I'm not gonna go tonight. At the time then I had asthma. So I was just like, I could fake like, oh, I had an asthma attack. I'm out just chilling, just doing my own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's certain things that
Just young mentality.
you become so lax on it, and that's what happened. Total didn't break up. It was so much inner turmoil within ourselves, and especially with me. I had became that person that would kind of like have my moments of like, yo, like what happened to, like what's going on with me? Like, and it wasn't so much as I wasn't doing drugs and drinking crazy. It was more or less just on the inside, like the way that you start to treat people after a while.
Yeah.
It's just like, yo, you have this, people make you think that the world belongs to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you could do whatever it is that you want, and you start to believe your own hype. And that's what I did. And it's just like, I'll never forget that moment that helped to change my life is when my mom said to me, my mom was my best friend.
Right.
And my mom said to me, she said, I love you, but I don't like you.
Oh, wow.
That right there.
That must hurt.
It hurt. Yeah, that was the moment. So it wasn't so much of a breakup. It was more or less that it was everybody was going through their own thing, especially me, and it was time for me to make a change.
Wow.
And change had to happen because I wasn't even liking myself.
Right.
To be honest, I wasn't liking
It's
it.
just the music industry and all the fame, and I guess it's hard to you become somebody else.
Yeah, you do. For real, you start, and the thing that makes you not like yourself is that believing that hype.
Right.
You know what I mean? Believing that you start to believe. You know how people are like, yo, I love you. Da, da, da. Oh, you the dopest. All of that stuff, you start to believe it. But what happens? What happens when you don't have that? What happens to the love? So it's just like, my thing is that when you start to believe that hype, that's when you get lost. You got to keep that level head. If you don't keep a level head in this industry, it is going to sweep you up out of here.
Out of here.
For real.
So you talked about Puff at the time, overlooking everything. So how involved was he with how much control do you feel you have with the music? Like, it's one thing to look, the branding and all that, but like the music itself, do you guys feel you had control, or because you were so young, you just said, yo, whatever Puff say, that's what we're gonna do?
Right, you know what? Because the songs, Terry Robinson actually was writing, from Terry and Monica, the songs was so dope. It was just like, yo, you couldn't deny it. You couldn't deny what she was putting out. So it was just like, Puff was loving everything that she was doing. She had just did So For Real. So it was just like everything, she was popping.
Right.
And it was just like she was coming with it. I mean, song after song after song, especially that first album. So it was just like, honestly, I was all in. And if Puff would have said something, because think about it, you 15 years old and you working with the guy, he was the guy to me that was running around chasing, what was her name? The dancer in Mary's video, Real Love.
Real Love, yeah.
So it's just like, you looking at Puff Daddy, the dude that worked with Jodeci and everything. So if he would have told us to sing Cat Dog, I don't know about them, but I would have sung Cat Dog. I would have been singing Cat Dog.
He still has that influence, by the way, probably.
Yeah, for real. I would have been singing Cat Dog.
Anybody be like,
for real.
Say no to him. All right, cool. That's what you want me to do.
Right.
Let's do that. It
Okay,
might work.
let's get Cat Dog. Let's do it.
That is an influence
Yes.
that man has in
For
everything,
real.
right?
Yes, absolutely. And
Definitely
he knew
blessed.
it. Yeah.
How long did it take for him to put his hands on your group and get a single out or make that big impact? How long was that process? Like, was it like years of studio, and then you guys came out to the forefront? Or was it just like, we met, we signed, we was studio a week later and a single came out? Like, was it fast? Was it a slow pace?
Right, you know what, it was, Puff, because I was so young, it was just like the grooming process. We went through like different songs. We did numerous songs.
Mhm.
And it was just like, I guess it wasn't what he wanted at the time. And it was just like, he would just have us around the studio. And Kima and Keisha actually were the two that sung on Juicy.
Oh, wow.
For a Big's Juicy.
It was awesome.
And so, with that was their first time being in like the major studio or whatever. And like I said, I was young. Where was Pam at the time? I was home. I had an opportunity to go back home. And I was like, I don't want to go to the studio. And that particular night, they was in the studio and Puff told them to sing. I was hot. I was upset. I was like, I missed it. But for the most part, it was just like, Puff, I can say that Puff, he had us in a place where he knew, I think Puff knew exactly what he was doing. Like, he was just I think he wanted Craig first, then Big.
Yeah.
And it was just like, because to establish that we got
Brand.
muscles. Yeah, Bad Boy got muscles.
Right.
Now I'm gonna show y'all the softer side
Right.
of Bad Boy. The girl group, put the girl group out there. And
It was
they
exciting when
came
y'all came out
next,
too.
You know what I mean?
I'm
So it
sure all
was
the
just
women
like,
related to it. It was
was-
just a different sound, and it was already
Exactly.
winning. That Bad Boy flag was
Exactly.
everywhere,
yes.
especially with the Big and stuff. So
Yeah, the
when you
first
guys
single.
came out, it shook it up.
Yeah, it did. That first single, Can't You See, when it first came out, we didn't even have an album done. And so it was just like, when it hit so hard,
Yeah.
we had to rush.
So that's my
It's
question.
just-
How long
yeah.
did that come out? Like, Can't You See to when you guys sang and over him in the studio the first time?
Can't You See came out, the next thing, the album came out a year later.
No, but till Can't You See came out, from when you signed with him to that, how long was that process? Him,
Okay,
him
it was-
grooming you guys and studying you guys and telling you how to do your hair.
I say about at least, because I was 15 to 18, because I signed
3
my
years.
contract. I signed my contract, yeah.
That anxiety gotta
Yeah.
be crazy wanting
3
to
years.
come out the gate and he
Yeah,
just holding you back.
It was just like because I think that Puff just knew, like he had us around, like even when how Puff had the biggest parties.
Yeah.
It's just like he had us in the mix of all of that, being around Mary,
Right.
seeing Jodeci, being in the studio and seeing what they do,
Right.
and seeing him do what he do.
Right.
It was just like grooming us to see, like, you have to really know,
How
like,
to move in
gotta know
that world.
this. Yep, you gotta know this. Like, you can't come out here doing nothing halfway.
Right.
You're not gonna do it not with me anyway. You know what I mean? You can do it with somebody else.
Right.
But you're not gonna do it with Puff. Not at all. He wasn't the man for it
You
at all.
wanted to make sure you guys represented him correctly.
Absolutely. Because his name was on the line.
Right.
He like, well, yo, look, I can drop you tomorrow. Pretty much. I can
Right.
drop you tomorrow. But this is about my name. And if it's about my name, it's gonna be excellent.
Excellent, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's crazy.
I mean, you guys were a phenomenal group. When he said, because he got his style from Uptown. Like, we all know that. You know what I mean? And that's where that whole part. So, Andre Huel was very instrumental
Yes.
in leading that direction. So I get it. I think when somebody does that and they go, "Wow, drop y'all tomorrow," they really can't drop. Like he knew. It's like playing spades. It's like, yo, you got certain cards before you make that book.
Right.
But you making the cards kind of believe that, yo, you're not as. But that was smart because it keep you in your place.
Yes.
If he gives you that you valuable, then they're like, oh well, when he need us, and we can start looking, So I think that was pretty smart of him to do that. What do you think the difference between R&B now and the '90s is?
You know what? I can honestly say that a lot of people have lost their individuality. That's my only thing. It's just like, when you think about it, you had Escape, you had Faith, you had Mary, you had Total, you had SWB, you had TLC. Everybody was colorful.
Right.
And I think that everybody is trying to so much to be, and I don't think it's so much the artist. I think that the artists don't wanna miss out on having a deal sometimes, or having to wait. Is that everybody's not Beyonce.
Right.
And B does her thing. You know what I mean? B comes out and she does her thing, but everybody is not B. And I think that that's what a lot of people are missing. Nowadays, it's just like, just be you.
Right.
Take that stance just to be you as an artist. And that's what I love about Puff, is that he did not try to make us be Escape. And Jermaine Dupri ain't trying to make Escape be Total. It was just like what it is that you had, they saw it and they helped
Packaged it for you
Come
to
on.
help you get it out.
Yes, they helped you to do go to the next level with it, opposed to you trying to be something that you're
Right.
not, because you can't walk in another man's shoes.
Right.
That's the hardest thing to do. And because it don't come off right. It don't come off as genuine. It's just like somebody gonna always put you back. They like, oh that's what B did. You know, opposed to it saying like, yo,
You see a lot
girl,
of that now with artists.
did they think?
Somehow
Exactly.
It's similar to everything. Somehow, somewhere,
Yeah,
everybody copies.
that's the only thing to me. I'm just like, yo, like y'all so talented. Like, do you, be
Right.
you,
It's a lot
whatever
of
that
cookie
is.
cutting.
Yes, it is. It really is.
Yeah. Instant. Just add water. It comes out.
Yes.
Let me ask you. You had 2 albums.
Okay.
So look, it's a weird combination. Your first album was. Did it go your first album went platinum?
Mhm.
Then your second album
Mhm.
only went gold
Right.
as Total,
Mhm.
right? So why do you think that only gold and not platinum again?
You know what? Because we didn't push it.
When you say we didn't push it, are you saying the label didn't push it?
No, it
Or you
wasn't.
saying you didn't?
You know what? It wasn't so much as the label. It's because we had so much, by then, it was so much, I told you that inner turmoil that was going on, it started to spill over. And it was just like, yo, it was so, we were so lax, and it was just like, it came to a pause. 1999, I will never forget it. Everything came to a pause on that second album. And it was like, yo, for a minute, I told you, I was looking in the mirror, I'm just like, yo, who is this chick? And I'm going through it, I'm just like, I cannot even, I see myself,
Right.
but who am I? And that's what it had came to for me. So it was just like my life took a pause. And in the midst of that pause, I thank God for it, because it had me call out to the only person that I knew that can help me, and that was God. I was like, yo, I went to my brother, I was like, yo, this is it for me. I was like, I'm giving my life to the Lord. I said, I can't do it anymore. I said, I cannot do this no more. Because
Right.
that's how hard I was running.
Right.
I was running. You know what I mean? It had nothing to do with anybody else. It was just me.
Right.
And so with that, it was just like we didn't have time to promote, because it was so much bickering going on. It was to a point where Kima was just like, yo, I don't even want to be in a group no more. So it was just like, it wasn't because of Kima wanting to just walk out on the group. It was more or less, I told you that what was going on with me was spilling. I can't speak for everybody else, but I know me and what was going on with me. I was a mess. And it
So
became
young,
messy.
though.
Yeah, it was messy, because Kima was just like, yo, like
You guys
I
are
can't
teenagers.
deal with this.
Yeah, you guys are teenagers.
She's like, I can't deal with this no more.
What was Puff thoughts when you said that?
It was just like, you know, Puff was just like, yo, at that time, you know, he doing what it is that he doing. He's just like, yo, I don't have time for this girl catty stuff. Like, I don't have time for it. So it was just like, I thank God, because Puff could have really jammed us up, because think about it, his money is on the line. That's his money, it's his paper. So it was just like, we didn't have an opportunity to even excel because of what was going on internally. And it was just like, it was so messy. It was messy. It was messy within me, opposed to everybody couldn't see the mess, but I was the mess. I know I was.
It's because we didn't have social media back then.
Right, exactly. That's it. That's the
If
reason
we
why.
had Twitter back then, the world would have been like, what's going on with her? Why is Pam like that?
Why Pam tripping? Yes.
Y'all have been the reality show.
No, for a big
I'm like, yo, let's just do the reality show right now. We're gonna do like
Come on.
30 episodes.
I need
Right.
to recoup.
Bring y'all back.
I need to
Yes,
recoup
I need
here.
to recoup.
Take
for
that,
real.
take that.
Oh God.
So what are some of the great moments, like tour life and studio life? Any great memories you could share with the people?
You
Like,
know what?
any
just
stories, Biggie stories?
being around
Craziest
big-
time at Bad Boy. That's what we want to know. Craziest moment at Bad
40
Boy.
women running through the hallways
Yo.
naked.
From the craziest moments of that, like
You guys were on tour with a bunch of dudes and y'all the only
yes,
girls around.
we were. It was, you know what? Okay. Oh God, he probably get me for this. But one of the craziest moments on the road for me was that as a young girl, being out on the road with all of these dudes, like you said, and to see the women lined up outside of dudes' doors kind of blew me away. Like, I'm saying to myself, like, you know that they already got somebody in there and you waiting your turn, but it's a lot of y'all. Like, I will walk past, like, and I'm young and I'm walking past, like, looking like,
Word? It's like that.
And I'm just like to myself, like.
So you walking past, they like, don't be trying to skip.
And you know, I'm walking by because I'm like, you know, we all like, I can't believe this. I was like, no, they not. I was like, no, they not. But I was just like, yo, I couldn't believe it. And I said to myself, like, dog, like, what's wrong with us women? Like we that big?
How old were you when you thinking like this?
Yo, I'm like, I'm 8 by then. I'm like 18. You know what I mean? Because I'm legal now, and I'm walking. I'm saying to myself, like, yo, really? Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, yo, those moments for me was just like, I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, yo, I wouldn't wait my turn. Like, if I'm not the one, if I'm not the chosen one, then I'm gonna just go home. Like, I'm not gonna wait my turn. That's how I felt. Like, I'm not gonna wait my turn now. But I saw that and it kind of just.
It's kind of nasty if you think about
it. Yeah, it bugged me out.
I'm glad I didn't meet you. No, you got morals and stuff, man.
Yo,
I was in college. I ain't need no morals.
Yo, I was just like, wow. Like,
you know what's funny is I tried to book y'all when I was in college.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I went to Old Westbury and I tried to book y'all. I was president of student body.
Right.
I was booking everybody and stuff like that.
Right.
And I trying to book y'all was too expensive.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was too
You
expensive.
gotta pay Puff his cut.
Yeah. Booking agent made that just hard. He was like, well, you gotta do this. And you know how I wound up
Right.
booking? 702.
Really? Nice.
And we wanted y'all.
Right. Oh, man.
You know, no shots, 702 was cool. They, you know,
I
it
love
was
you.
love.
Yeah,
You know what I
yes,
mean?
absolutely. Love all the way.
Crazy.
But it was funny. I said, yeah, we getting them in there, man. So y'all missed out on that break.
How about the reunion
Oh.
tour? How was that? Was that
Amazing.
amazing? It
Oh my
it brought
goodness.
you back
It brought me all the way back. I promise you, just to be back
with everybody.
around everybody, the love was so dope. You know, of course, Big was missed.
Right.
And Craig, you know, at the time, Craig couldn't make it.
It was
And so
already
yeah,
sick,
so it was just like it was amazing to be back around everybody, everybody that started Bad Boy team,
Right.
like even seeing people from the street team.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh God, it was dope to see everybody and the love that was there. It was real. That's when you know that it's real family.
Right.
That's when you can say, you know what? Out of everything that we all been through,
Right. It's still
this was
it's family.
it's
Yeah.
still family.
There's always gonna be little
It's
feuds,
still
but
family. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And it's just like, you know what? I gotta say this. A lot of times Puff get demonized. You know what I mean? He get demonized by so many people, and it's just like I've heard so many people say what Puff has done to them and all this and that and the third, right? But I look at the business and I say that how many of us would have not signed to Puff back then?
right.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Every last one of us. You know what I mean?
Change-
Every last
You
one
put
of
your
us
hands
was
on you guys and
signed
change your
to
life.
this dude. And it's just like, I look at it and I say, it's not a shame on him for Puff did business.
Yeah.
He's a businessman and the people that was around him. A lot of times I think we forget that it's people as well that he had on his team that was doing business for him. Stuff that he may have known about or may not have known about.
Right.
But it's just like we had to, I look at it and I say that had I did better business in some areas, maybe I wouldn't have came out if I thought I caught the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But honestly, I don't think I did catch the short end of the stick. I think that I gained a lot
Right, right.
because people not only know Pamela Long, but they know Pam from Total.
So, right.
So you know what I mean? So it's just like I definitely wanted to just pay homage because I got to. Because if it wasn't for that dude,
Right.
I wouldn't be here.
And I think that a lot of his artists, like I spoke to Kiss a couple of times.
Right.
No matter what happens with all of the artists that have said stuff,
Mm-hmm.
with the exception of Black Rob, he's the only one that's still tight. You know what I mean? Rob, you know I love you, but Rob is just like
God.
tight, man. Like
Right.
it's, I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but everybody else is the same exact thing. They go, you know what? I learned the business and
Yes.
I was emotional. And when you don't understand the business and stuff, you kind of you personalize them.
Yeah.
People don't get it. This is a business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I heard funny stuff like he used to charge artists to use his cars and stuff like that in
Right.
his houses.
Right.
And then I thought about it, I was like, oh, that's kind of messed up. But then I think about it, I'm like, well, they would have paid somebody else to
Come
do that.
on, yeah.
Now, if he's
Sure.
if he's charging you, but let's say he's like, if I say, oh Ray, let me use your joint, and he says, all right, well, I'm gonna let you use it. I'll only charge you $50 instead of $100.
Right.
Then I should be good with that
Yeah.
because if I'm willing to give $100 to this dude over here. Why am I expecting him to be free. It's still gas, it's still maintenance, it's still insurance. Like it costs to have those things, and when you start to realize what it is, it's just like, oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. So I definitely had to say that because that dude is definitely has been a blessing to my life. For real. Straight up.
I just have one other question before.
Okay.
I know Ray wants to ask about like, you know, what you're doing solo wise and
Okay.
stuff like that. But if you had your choice, beside Bad Boy,
Okay.
what other label would you have signed with? Let's say Bad Boy's not in the picture and any label, what other label would you have signed with and why at that time?
Oh, at that time?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I would honestly say that I would have signed if in fact he would have came out. I think he came out a little bit. He came out after Puff.
Puff was just at the top of his game at that time.
It don't matter. It don't matter if
Oh,
it
it
was
don't matter?
after or before. I'm
Okay.
just wondering if Bad Boy's out of the way, they're not a conversation, and they say these are the labels. Which one of those labels would you sign with and why?
I would have signed with Master P. Really.
Wow.
You know why?
He owns his
Because
masters.
you know why I say P? Because P is he's a great entrepreneur, and then two, he wasn't just in the music industry. So it's just like, to me, it's just like being around that mindset would have broadened a whole lot of things for me when I was younger, because all I thought about was just music.
Right.
And P had a different vision. If you look at him, he was in basketball, he was in movies, he was all over the place, you know what I mean? And then two, when it came down to as far as how he took care of his artists, it's just like, yo, you know how some artists only got 10 cents for an album, some only got 25 cents, but that dude made sure that all of his artists got $1 and more for whoever it was that was signed. So it's just like the way that he did business as well too. So it's just like, because of that, I was just like, yo, I respect him on that. You know what I mean? I respect the grind. It doesn't say that I don't respect Puff or I don't respect anybody else. But the way that he did business, it was just like, wow, he made sure that his family ate as well too. They may not have ate as much, but they ate.
Right.
So that would be my reason as to why I say that.
I was thinking like, I thought you was gonna say like social death or something like that.
That-
I hate you. That was a curve. You expected that one? I didn't
No,
expect that one.
Yeah.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
P.
P is that guy.
Yeah.
How's your relationship with Puff now? You guys still
Good. You know what? I love Puff. Actually, on the tour, we was all.
Can you call my
everybody went
FaceTime
over
right
to-
now? We'd like to talk to him. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It'd be one of the ones that joke be like, doo doo doo. But my relationship with Puff is still the same. Like I still, every time I get around Puff, he becomes this big brother that I haven't
Mentor, big
seen,
brother,
like
yeah.
that I haven't seen in a long time, and it's just like putting on a shoe that always a fit.
Mhm.
It's just like, no matter how much you think that you like this person, I haven't seen him in a while, because a lot of times, me personally, for a good minute I stayed away from the industry, and then I came back, thank God, you know. So, and when I saw Puff, it was just like that little girl, that little sister all over again. It was just like the big brother that I
Right.
looked up to, that when I saw him for the first time, I'm just like, yo, you still that dude to me. You
Yeah.
still that dude. And it was just like, for me to still be that to him,
Right.
still the little sister, yo, bugging out, playing. I was just like, wow,
It's
I'm
still,
grateful.
It's still
for that.
brother.
Yeah,
It's
still,
the
yeah.
love is still there. It's
Still
beautiful.
there, absolutely.
So I know you did the tour. He asked you about the Bad Boy joint.
Right.
So when you were on the R. Kelly tour, right?
Okay, when we did the.
What was that like? Because y'all went on tour, right?
We did a run. It wasn't a tour. We just did. Now, see, I didn't see Kelly a whole lot, but I know that we did.
It's probably a good thing.
We did something. Yeah, we did something. Now, I can honestly.
That's a little bad.
I'm just saying, y'all was probably a little too old for R. Kelly. So
Man, shots fired. Sorry. Be nice, be nice.
You
like,
know
damn.
what?
He said, I thought they were still in high school. How you going on tour?
In the 20s now. Messing with these girls.
They legal. I can't be dealing with no legal girls.
I can't. When we got, you know what? And that was just. We just did a run with R. Kelly. Just recently. You know what? We were in Atlanta and. This kind of bugged me out. I couldn't believe it. We was in a building. We was getting ourselves together. It was 90. I think it was 94 outside, and everybody in the building was getting ready. Next thing you know, you feel yourself, you sweating. You like, oh shoot, like what the heck? Like what happened to the air? And I did not know that R. Kelly would not come into the building until the building was 90-something degrees. So the workers in there, now we left out the building. The workers had to stay inside and they were infuriated. They were so mad because, and they're sweating and I'm just like, yo, for him to walk through the building, it had to be 90-something degrees.
He needed to be tropical weather or something? He wanted
Yo.
to walk around his tank
No,
top or
he,
something?
when he, and I thought he was gonna stay in the building. He just walked right through the building to the stage. I was like, oh, I said.
He performed the whole time with like at 90-something degrees?
No, it was out, now see, the show was outside in Atlanta at Wolf, what is that, is it Wolf Arena?
Something like that.
I wonder if it
Yeah.
has to do with his voice or something.
Yeah, it has something to do with your vote, but I was just like, yo, you're walking through.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
Go sit in your car with the heat.
That was a lot. That was the first time that I encountered R. Kelly, and I was just like, yo, I was like, that was very different. But I didn't get an opportunity to see him perform. Whatever. I heard he's a great performer, but I never
He's super
got
talented.
an opportunity to see him.
He is, man. You just gotta, keep your kids in the stroller.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, me.
I'm just saying, yo, listen. I'm just saying, man, I ain't lying. Y'all act like I'm saying something that ain't true.
Hey.
I'm just saying, man, he like him young, man. That's what it is.
You just heat up the rooms.
I bet. All right, Ray, go ahead. Ask your questions, man. See, I can't say nothing in here.
Okay, solo career. What you doing?
Yes. You know what? I'm working on a solo project. I'm so excited about it. Yes, it's called Undeniable. You know what? I could say that it is very, very different from solo. It is. It's me.
That's you.
It's me. You know how I tell a lot of people, Puff had a brand.
Right.
And I respect them for it, and it's just like I'm still paying. Of course, you're gonna get the box,
associated.
you're gonna get all of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? You'll definitely get the association of where I came from.
Right.
But for the most part, you're gonna get Pamela Long.
Right.
It's just like I gotta spread my wings.
Right.
I gotta spread my wings. So the album is colorful. I'm excited about it, and it's something that I've been waiting to do for a long time.
Is it ready already? Is it
Yeah,
recorded already?
it's ready. It's definitely ready. So I'm excited about it. You know what? I had an opportunity to do an artist deal, but I don't want an artist deal. I was like, I've done that already because I don't want to get stripped of my creativity. I'm not trying to give any of that up. It's just
Learn
like
that
when
from
you
Puff, right?
listen, when you've been through it, you say, look, I learned my lesson. Yes, I've learned my lesson. What I've learned is that you know what. I've learned how to do so much business from Puff.
Right, so I'm gonna ask you business questions.
Okay, come on.
Because when you say that stuff, I'm like, damn, I know what that meant. So,
Right.
like, what is a good deal for a new artist that wants to sign up? And why should they shut it down or take the deal? Like, what is a good, like,
All right.
scenario for an artist?
Okay, can I tell you a bad deal?
Okay, tell me a bad deal.
All right, a bad deal.
Not your old deal. But
Okay, bad deal. Bad deal. I'm gonna give you $1 million. I'm gonna give you a $1 million 360 deal.
Yeah, I hear 360 all the time. What does that mean?
360 is terrible deal. It's just like they gonna have ends on everything that you do, your shows, whatever.
Merchandising.
Everything that you do.
So your gigs and on the side, hosting, they're involved.
Everything, yep. They're coming in on everything.
But they're
And
giving you $1 million, but they're not really getting $1 million after
because-
taxes.
Yeah, after
No.
taxes, and then just think about your recoup, everything, your videos, all of that stuff, everything that you do, your movement is coming out of that. So it's just like you thinking, it
Yeah,
sounds
like $1 million.
good. It sounds good. But then in the end, because you going crazy, yeah, I got my advance, you looking happy about everything. It looks good. It looks like you on your way up.
So they don't give you a one lump sum check. They give you advance and they give it to you.
Yeah, you get an advance and then everything comes out of your budget, like everything. And then you got to recoup. Where's your money
So
coming
that $1 million
from?
is basically a loan.
Yeah, it's just a loan.
It's a
That's-
bank loan to
it's-
go get your project done.
It sounds.
There's $1 million,
So-
make a video, go to the studio,
After
da,
what?
da,
You
da.
figure after taxes was like 600,000, 600 and change? Because the taxes they're gonna take right out of that, right?
Yeah, just think
Yeah.
about
And
somebody
there's a lawyer,
taxing
management.
everything that you do.
And then you gotta give a percentage of
Then
that.
there's a manager, there's a lawyer fee, they're all percentages. So that $1 million
No.
goes down to like 150. I don't know what the number is, but
Smoke,
smoke.
It's smoke.
Because then you use it for your stuff, for your
Smoke.
videos, for your marketing.
yes.
And do they ask you to approve when you're spending your marketing money? I don't even
You
think
know
they
what?
do that.
I'm not sure
But
because.
if they hired
yeah.
this guy, Hype Williams, to do your video and you didn't know about it, how much it costs, and then your money's gone, and they just tell you at the end, hey, you spent your money.
Yep, you spent it. You spent it. We had to take you in the studio. We had to do this. We had to do that. So I would say no to that. But a good deal to me
What's a
is
good deal?
this is being able to be executive producer
Okay.
of your joint, and not only
Which
that.
means, like for
Meaning
people who
that,
don't know.
okay, meaning that you have say in what they put out,
Okay.
what records you wanna release, what records you like, no, I don't wanna put that one out. You have a mutual agreement, or either you're the one that calls shots.
So in the other type of deals, like the 360, somebody has to approve that this is coming out.
They
You gotta,
pretty much tell you what to do.
they're telling you how they want.
We gonna get this person, we gonna get the most
This
expensive producer that's gonna eat your budget up, that's gonna eat it up.
See, I'm Spanish from the hood, so I think
Yeah.
about shit like, all right, so they hired this guy for 100 grand, but he's gonna give you 50,000 back. So I took
Yeah.
care of that money. Back
Yeah.
deals every day.
Listen, my thing is that if you wanna have as much control as you can,
Right.
and don't worry about the advance. To me, it's just like, if you wanna advance, make sure it's small. Do a small advance, but have more control.
Right.
Keep your publishing. Don't let nobody get in your pocket, because that's how you eat. Like, yo, at the end of the day, if you don't have your publishing, yeah, you can get 10% of your publishing. Who's getting the 90?
Right.
Who's getting the 90? You understand what
And
I'm
why?
saying?
Did they write the song?
Come on,
Did they do?
exactly. So it's just like, with that, my thing is that have control, have more say, keep your money.
And forgive
Because
me
in
if
the
I'm
end,
wrong.
I'm gonna make money.
Publishing is like the money that always comes in as long as that song is still generating money.
Long as that song is still generating money.
still get a check.
You're gonna get
For
a
life.
check
Right.
for life.
So that's why you gotta try to own that. If
I-
you wrote the song, if
Yeah.
you did the beat or whatever.
I promise you, there was somebody that I know of, I won't say their name, but they had their first publishing check, $1 million check. It was all theirs.
That's pretty.
So, keep your publishing.
Yeah, keep the publishing.
Keep your publishing. Because your song blow, listen, keep your advance. I don't want an advance. This is what I want.
Right.
Or if you do get an advance, keep it low, keep it small. No, I don't want no $1 million, I'm all right, I'm good.
Give me a couple dollars, give me a couple
There
years.
was a movie, Cadillac Records,
Right.
and there was a scene where the guy told him, he says, all right, so I'm gonna give you he said, well, Ali, he said, I don't want the money. He said, I don't borrow against the store.
I don't borrow against the what?
I don't borrow against the store.
Against
The guy that
the
owned
store.
Cadillac Records, the
Wow.
white guy, he would always give like people Cadillacs, and he would give them money. He's like, so I'm gonna give you this, and he said, I keep my car. I don't want you to give me no car.
Right. Yeah.
I don't need you to give me no advance. Just pay me what you owe me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't borrow against the store.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that until you said what
Yeah.
you said.
Wow. That's exactly, and that's how it is. I'm telling you, it's just like, yo, at the end of the day, keep that. I don't want all of because that's how we get fooled with the glitz and the glam. You know what I mean? It's the thing. Like, yo, okay, let me get it.
Right.
And it's just like, you don't even realize that you're spent, so much is being spent. And at the end of the day, you owe so much, you drowning, and everybody else is making money.
Right.
And then by the time it's
You're in
time
debt.
for you to make money, it's just like, yo, it's not even there. And it's just like Master P, I promise you, I learned this thing from Master P. He said he had a meeting with one of the big record companies, minus the name. And he said that he went in there, and when he sat down with the guy, he said they told him that they was going to give him $1 million. They gave him the contract. He said, he looked at it, he said, like, yo, this is like a Michael Jordan contract. He said, because I went to college. He said, I'm smarter than, he's like, they must have didn't know I was smart. He said he told the dude, he was like, I'm going to lose my whole name, and I'm only getting 3%. He said he was just like, he sat down, he said he had $500 in his pocket at the time. He said, and he sat down, and he said he was just like, I'm going to go get some lunch, I'll be back. He said the guy said to him that if you don't come back in my office, you'll never have music. You'll never play music in this town at all. And he said, and he left, and him and his brother started arguing. He said, his brother said, how much money you got in your pocket? He said, he said, $500. He said, that guy offered us $1 million. Like, you gonna walk away from it? He said, he told his brother, if he offered me $1 million, how much you think I'm really worth?
Right.
He said his brother stopped talking. I looked at Master P. After that, I looked at his net worth. He's worth $365 million. And he didn't have to pay anybody. He did
right.
it
He did himself.
on his own. And I was just like, yo, hard work pay off. I was just like, that's why I'm like, yo, I cannot sell myself short no more. I can't do it. I was like, it's harder this way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Without the machine behind you, of course. But I'm just like, yo, look, at the end of the day, the talent will speak for itself. If you got talent, listen.
And the song take off, it changes the whole night. All you
It
need is
changes.
one song.
Come on, that's it. Yeah, in good way. Change the whole world. You know what I mean?
One
So look,
song.
come on, one song.
So I know you got a lot of moves out here to make. I did want to ask you. We were talking about it earlier.
Yes.
You gonna give us a little something in the booth?
Yeah, what y'all need, yeah, what y'all want, come
All
on.
right, that's what's up.
Set you free, nigga, the truth. Every time I step in the booth, I speak the truth. Y'all know what I'm bringing to you. I bring the truth. Motherfuckers know who I be. I be the truth. When I speak, set you free, nigga, the truth. Nigga, the truth. Nigga.
What's the deal? It's your boy Ben. What he said. You know where I'm at. You know what it is, man. You know, a lot of people don't understand. Some people move on in their careers and don't have it anymore. So I want the people to know that you still got it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna step out the booth so you can give them a taste of what music is supposed to sound like. You know what I mean? This is what you're listening to when you're listening to platinum artists. Okay?
What you do to me, I know was meant to be. You are made for me. Oh baby, can't you see? What you do to me, I know was meant to be. You are made for me. Every time I see you, I get this feeling. Oh yeah. Telling me you are the one. Oh, what a feeling. Hey, come on, Ray. I can't wait for the day that we can be together. I can't let you walk away. Oh, can't you see you and me? I want it to be, oh baby. There's nothing left for me to say. Can't you see what DJ Raymond is doing to me? Boy, why can't you see what you're doing to me? Oh, oh, oh. You are the one. Oh, what a feeling.
Y'all want to go platinum? That's what you got to sound like.
Woo, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Woo. I love it. I love it. The vibe is
That's what I'm
great.
talking about, man. That's what I'm talking
Pamela Long,
about.
Pamela
Selling tickets over here.
Voice
That's what
is
I'm talking
amazing.
about, man. You know,
Come through, let's do it.
got my man Ron Brown's running around here. Give me $20.
Tell everybody how they can find your music. That's important right now.
All right, you know what,
How they can buy your music.
You know what? Well, actually, I did the first joint. I did it for free. I let it go free, so they can go to SoundCloud, Pamela Long 1, and you can find that Ghetto Love on there, and also hit YouTube.
YouTube. That's how
Yeah,
they can find
YouTube.
you.
Yeah, Ghetto Love. Yes.
YouTube
Check it
is
out.
important.
Check it out.
It's
Check it out.
important.
Well, thank you for coming out on the gram. How can they get you?
Oh, they can get me on the gram, Pamela Long Forever, across the board, Twitter, everything. Pamela Long Forever. Yeah, everything.
That's what's up, man.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you for
Thank you
coming
so
through.
much.
Thanks for stopping
Thank
through.
you, thank
Take
you.
care. Good luck.
All right, then.